Okay, quick question. Have you ever looked at frost on a window and thought, who gave winter permission to have this much design and skill? Because I swear it's always the nights I'm just trying to be a normal person and the window is out here doing fine art, vertical strokes, little feather lines, dramatic texture. Like winter took one look at my plans and said, let's stop for a moment. So today we're talking about cyanotypes, but in the most winter way possible. We're talking about artists who let weather actually participate. Ice, snow, water, storms, wind, the whole situation. Because once you realize cyanotype is basically light plus water, you start noticing that winter has been practicing this aesthetic forever. Cyanotype is an early photographic printing process that makes that deep blueprint blue. You coat paper or fabric with a light sensitive solution, let it dry, put an object or negative on top, expose it to UV light, then rinse in water and the image reveals. The rinse is the best part. It's like the paper goes, okay, fine, I'll show you what I know. Anna Atkins, if Cyanotype had an origin story that feels like a soft-spoken mic drop, it's Anna Atkins. She used cyanotype to document algae and publish photographs of British algae. Cyanotype impressions starting in 1843, and it's widely described as the first book illustrated with photographs. What I love is that cyanotype starts as documentation, but it's obviously art. Those algae plates are delicate and weird and beautiful, and the negative space is doing half the emotional work. She certainly invented quiet drama on paper. Now, jumping from botanical specimens to the landscape, literally touched the artwork. Meghann Riepenhoff, if you want cyanotype that feels like weather signed the print itself, it's definitely her lane. Her series Ice is described as unique cyanotype prints made in freezing landscapes, made in collaboration with the landscape, where elements from water and the shore physically inscribe into the photographic material. That phrase, physically inscribes, makes me so happy because it's not a metaphor, it's not inspired by, it's literally the environment left marks. Her own news notes mention works made in storms, snow, and ice, and galleries have described her cyanotypes as physical traces of ice. This is certainly the kind of art that cures you of thinking you're in charge. Nature is the co-director and you are just showing up on set. Hannah Perrine Maud. Hannah's work is cyanotype plus glacial field work plus science brain, and it is so cool. Her series, Soft Monuments, is described as fabric blueprints of glacier processes made in the field and around glaciers. She has worked at the intersection of geoscience, climate research, and cyanotype. So if you've ever wanted art that feels like it came from the place, not just a picture of the place, this is what that looks like. Imagine your studio assistant like, do we need a heater? And you're like, no, we need a glacier. Kristin Link. Kristin did a project called 100 Glacier Cyanotypes as part of the 100-day project, creating a drawing for a cyanotype about Alaskan glaciers every day. I love this one because it shows another version of winter art, not storm, chaos, more like daily devotion. It's cyanotype as a place journal, an archive of attention, like I'm going to look at glaciers long enough to make one every day, even if life is messy. And since winter is not strictly where cyanotypes can omit their beauty, water plus light plus evidence, we can look at Mandy Barker. This is more ocean-focused cyanotype artist, but it's worth mentioning because it's a modern echo of Anna Atkins, and it shows how cyanotype can be documentary and political and beautiful at the same time. Her project photographs of British algae. Cyanotype Imperfections uses cyanotype prints of clothing waste and ocean debris inspired by Atkins. It's a reminder that cyanotype is not just pretty blue. It can carry a message and it can be a record. So let's talk about some fun project ideas. Nothing too big, just something to invoke curiosity. If you're like me, your brain immediately goes, how could I let winter physically participate without making my whole life harder? Cyanotype behind frost glass. If you have frost on a window, you can hold a coated sheet behind the frost and let the frost act like a texture filter for the light. The frost becomes the screen, the sun becomes the lamp, and the paper keeps the trace behind. You can also take different objects and 3 different winter days and arrange them and label the back date, time, and sky. And now you have a little archive of winter and how light behaves throughout the year. Winter specimen drawings. You can use twigs and seeds, pine needles, and literally create silhouettes that look like they belong in a museum collection of all the trinkets that winter leaves behind. In my studio, when it's freezing outside and my warm-up area is going and my window does this thing, I can just not stop staring at it. The frost shows up in these strong, deep vertical lines, no little waves or fern spirals, more like winter carvings. It feels less like decoration and more like a reminder that water is always moving and changing and finding structure even when everything looks still. That is the feeling I love about Cyanotype 2. Light makes the mark. Water reveals it, and you get to keep a trace moment that would normally pass without a witness. Next Sunday, I want to look up into the sky and talk about winter light, geometry, halos, and sundogs. Those moments where ice crystals in the air bend sunlight into shapes that look like the sky decided to do printmaking. Quick studio notes. January 24th and 25th captures are almost ready. I should be able to start going through them and see what is good and what is not so good. Sundays will continue to be collection arrival days. There are new snowflakes in the gallery, and if you feel like browsing, the link is in my bio. If you could watch one thing happen in real time, what would you pick? Frost forming on glass, a snowflake under a microscope. I'll see you next Sunday.